Okay. So in the yesterday's lecture, we have created two custom applications. One was Merck Incorporation and the second was Align Talent Acquisition. So we have learned how to create the applications and how to give the images or the logos to the application. So that is what, first of all, you need to, upload the image inside a document object. So every time, whenever you use any kind of static resource, what is a static resource? A static resource is actually any kind of file. It could be your image, it could be your, audio file, maybe video or other files like Word and the PDF or maybe the Excel. So they will ask you this question in the interview also, how to use the static resources inside the Salesforce. That time you need to answer, okay, we need to, first of all, we need to upload. We need to, first of all, upload the static resource inside a document object, Inside a document object, you need to upload. Yeah, you need to first upload any static resource, whatever you want inside a document object, and then you can use it. And then you can use it. Yesterday, we have uploaded these two images and we want them to be used as an application logo. Although, please mute yourself. Yeah. Although we can, upload any size of image in the document object, but if you want that image to be used as a logo, if you want that image to be used as a logo, only in that case, there is a governor limit. One additional governor limit is there. What is that? That image size, it should be within 20 kbs, within 20 kbs. So within 20 kb image can only be used as an application logo. Otherwise, there is no restriction on the size of uploading any file, any static resource on this document object. So up to this, like we have done yesterday, and this Merck Incorporation, I can see it's still in the bottom of the list. Let me try to bring this on the top. Yesterday, due to some sort of network difficulties, we were unable to do this. So let's go with the same navigation first. Go to the setup menu. Inside the setup, go to the build menu. Inside the build, go to the create, and then click on this apps. Click this button called as reorder button. You will, eventually get this, all of this, all of the applications that we have seen. So right now I can see Merck, Merck is at the bottom of the list. Let me try to bring it at the top of this particular list. So let me bring this Merck Incorporation once again. Let me just drag and drop it over on the top. Just drag it and drop. Align is also in the bottom. How is it comes? Anyway, let me bring all these two applications, Merck and the Align. So let me try to bring both of them at the top of this particular list. Yeah, now Align is at the top and the second is Merck Incorporation. The Align is at the top and second is the Merck Incorporation. Let me now go with any other application. Let's try to see this. Now we have Align at the top of this list and Merck is at the second of this particular list. So this is how usually we, we reorder this particular app launcher menus, Okay, now the time to go with further things, and let's start to discuss this object. So we are going to start with the objects. What exactly is the object, and what are the types of object, and how to create our own objects, and what are the few governor limits, and how to see the objects. That is essentially important. See, apart from creating, you must also know what are the objects, what are the present object inside my org, right? What is an object? Let's go with this definition. What exactly is an object? So if you learn any sort of object-oriented programming language, if you learn the definition of object, there is object refers to any real world entity. The object refers to any real world entity. If you remember in our initial days when we were discussing what are the objects inside the Salesforce CRM, that time we first have learned what exactly is the CRM. What is this terminology CRM stands for? What is this process called as CRM? The CRM is customer relationship management. And then we have learned the few terminologies that are related with the Salesforce CRM. So what is a CRM? CRM is a kind of business process. CRM is what? It's a kind of business process. There we actually, it's a kind of cycle where we actually focus on the end-to-end business needs, where we actually focus on all end-to-end needs of any business. So we must have seen there are so many different kinds of terminologies over there. Like we have discussed what exactly is the meaning of campaigns. Why campaigns has been done, that is also we have discussed. Who actually who done the campaigning is the marketing team. These are the people who done some sort of campaigning. Why campaigning has been done? The campaigning stands for some sort of advertisement. There could be, various channels where this campaigning can be done. There could be various channels where this advertisements can be done. Now, what is the outcome of who comes, who execute the campaigns? Marketing team executes the campaign. What is the outcome of campaign? Campaigns, the outcome is lead. Who is going to handle this lead? The sales team is going to handle the lead. What are they try to do? They will try to convert this lead into the customer. What happened when a lead is converted, when opportunity is generated? So, eventually we have learned so many terminologies that time. We have learned so many terminologies. Like, let me show you that. We have learned what does account stands for, contact stands for, opportunity stands for. This is an important thing that we have discussed that time. What happens when a lead is converted inside the Salesforce? Three things are generated: account, contact, opportunity. Apart from this, we have we have seen so many, we have discussed that time so many objects, like so many terminologies that time we have discussed, like the campaigns, lead, accounts, contacts, opportunity, cases, solutions, product, price book. Now, what are these? These are the terminologies of the CRM. If you learn any kind of CRM, apart from the Salesforce, if you try to learn if you try to learn any other CRM also, there also you are going to see the same kind of terminologies. If you learn the SugarSoft CRM, if you learn the PeopleSoft CRM, there also, you are going to see the same kind of terminologies there also. Now, what is these terminologies inside the Salesforce? These all are the objects. These all are the objects. Now, with this example, what I want you to understand is that the Salesforce object, they are very realistic. The Salesforce object, they are very realistic. Realistic means what? According to the CRM. According to the CRM. Salesforce objects are really the world. They are the words that we usually use inside the CRMs. तो ऑब्जेक्ट के नाम तो कुछ भी हो सकते थे, ऑब्जेक्ट के नाम तो कुछ भी हो सकते थे, but inside the Salesforce, the object names, they purely relate yourself. They purely relate itself to the existing CRMs. So what is an object? The object is any kind of real world CRM entity. What's an object? The object is any kind of real world CRM entity. What we can do with the objects, we can store the details related to any record. Like we can, store the details related to the accounts, the contacts, opportunity, or else if someone of our customer raise any kind of complaint regarding to any product what we have, what he has purchased, so we can, get this detail inside the cases object. The kind of solutions what we provide to them can be stored inside the solution object. With the help of price book object, you can, code the price ranges of all type of the products that you have inside your particular manufacturing line. These objects are really very realistic objects. So inside the Salesforce CRM, we have so many objects. And Salesforce even provide you this facility. If this object doesn't suit to your business, it doesn't fulfills entire your business, you have this facility that you can create your own objects also. So let's discuss that there are two different kinds of objects are there in the Salesforce. Whatever the Salesforce has provided us, all of those objects, they are called as standard object. Like, some examples are like account, campaigns, opportunities, and the leads, and then this cases and the solutions. These are the few examples. There are so many else objects also. When what we are going to create, if it doesn't, if it doesn't supports my requirement, if it doesn't fulfills my requirement, it doesn't fulfills our client's requirement, then the Salesforce has given this facility that you can create your own objects, and they are going to be called as the custom objects. So, we have this facility in the Salesforce that either we can go with the standard object if we are developing some sort of lightweighted CRM application, then your entire requirement could be fulfilled with this only. Otherwise, you have this facility that you can even develop your own custom objects. You can create your own custom objects. That is what. Now, what you can do with the standard object, the same with what you can do with the applications. Yesterday we have seen this. We can customize the standard object, but what? Up to a certain level. That you can add some fields, you can hide few fields from there. What you cannot do, you cannot delete or remove any standard object. Why? Why? Because it's going to affect the CRM functionalities. Same with the application also. You can customize the standard applications up to a certain level. That is also, that this also applies to the standard objects also. You can customize, you can edit the standard objects up to a certain level, but what you cannot do is that you cannot remove, you cannot delete your standard objects. That is what you cannot do, because it's going to affect the CRM functionalities. So Salesforce won't allow you to do that. But regarding custom object, because you are the owner, you have created this custom object. So you are having every rights. You are having every rights. You can do whatever you want to do. You can edit them, you can use them, even you can, if you don't want, you can simply delete the objects from your CRM also. So we have everything, we have full control with the custom objects, but this standard object, we can use them. Of course, we can use them, but up to editing, we can go with a certain point. Beyond that, we are not allowed to go. That is what we are going to see with this. Now, let's discuss the few governor limits. We always compare, I always compare this governor limit with respect to this unlimited edition. With respect to the unlimited edition. So if you are using the unlimited edition, you can create maximum 2000 custom objects inside one organization, not more than that. So this is something which has been, given as a fixed governor limit. And remember, Salesforce governor limits are very, very rigid. There is no way to bypass this governor limits. Not even by the programmings, not even with the help of configuration, with the help of customizations, you cannot bypass, you cannot override this governor limits. Everything, whatever there in the governor limit of the Salesforce, that's very rigid. That's very, so we always, we always need to work. We always need to plan according to the Salesforce governor limits. That is essentially important. So there, every time when I discuss something, I usually discuss this governor limits also. Because Salesforce follows shared infrastructure. Everything, whatever there inside the Salesforce, whether it's an object, whether it's an application, whether it's a field, whether it's a server space, everything is shared between more and more users. That is why you have everything as a shared resource, and you cannot ask for a monopoly. To avoid this, Salesforce has imposed some sort of governor limits. That is why the governor limits are very essential to understand. So with respect to every feature, you must understand, you must learn, and you must remember the governor limits. With respect to object, with respect to application, we have seen this. Although inside the unlimited, you can create any number of applications. You can create any number of applications. Because we were using the free developer account, in that you can at max go with the 10 custom application for your practice. You can create at max 10 application, not beyond that. In the unlimited edition, we can create as many, but this is not with the object. Yes, object make limit hai. What is that limit? Inside the unlimited edition, we can only create 2000 custom objects. You can only create 2000 custom objects, not more than that. Okay. In the free developer account, this limit is 400. This limit is 400 custom objects only, not beyond that. Now, before actually learn how to create this governor, how to create these objects. Yeah. Before actually learn how to create the object, we must also learn how to see the objects. That is essentially important. बनाना, क्रिएट करना जितना इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, उससे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है ये कि ये ऑब्जेक्ट्स कहाँ होती हैं, कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट्स को किस तरह से देखना, स्टैंडर्ड ऑब्जेक्ट को किस तरह से देखना. ठीक है, देखना उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, बनाना भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट एट द सेम टाइम इट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट कि यू शुड बी अवेयर ऑफ दैट नेविगेशन, कि हमको ऑब्जेक्ट्स को देखना चाहिए, हमको एप्लीकेशन को कैसे देखना वो आना चाहिए. हाउ टू सी द फील्ड्स, हाउ टू सी द रिलेशनशिप्स, हाउ टू सी what are the validation rules, what are the formulas are there, everything we must aware of this navigation. क्योंकि देखो जरूरी नहीं हर चीज हम ही क्रिएट करेंगे. रिमेंबर, if you join this any company, you maybe deploy on any existing project, और तब आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि how to see what are the objects are there inside my module, how to see them, what are the what are the relationships between the object, how to see the relationships, how to see what are the fields that are custom fields that has been created, वो भी देखना आना चाहिए हर चीज. सो जितना इंपॉर्टेंट है चीजों को क्रिएट करना सीखना, उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट है चीजों को देखना कि हमारी सेल्सफोर्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कौन सी चीज कहां पर है, उसको किस तरह से देखी जाए. दिस इज एसेंशियली. तो दैट इज व्हाई आई यूजुअली गिव दिस नेविगेशन टू सी. कल आपने ऑब्जेक्ट को देखना सीखा, अभी मैंने रिवाइज किया कि गो टू द सेटअप में, Okay. Once you go to the setup menu, then go to this build. Inside the build, expand the create, go to this app, and you will come to know how many applications are there inside your org. How many of them are standard? How many of them are custom? This is the navigation to see what are the applications are there inside the organization. In the same way, in the same way, we are now moving forward towards the creating of custom object. But before that, let's see how to see the objects, how to see what are the different objects are there, how to see the standard objects, how to see the custom objects. Okay, chalo, aage badhte hain. So, way to view the object. There are four ways. There are four ways. There are four ways. But right now I'm going to discuss the three one with this developer console. अच्छा ठीक है अभी बता देंगे चलो कोई दिक्कत नहीं. So how to see this objects? There are three ways. Okay, four है क्या एक? No, there are three ways. There are three ways to see how to see the objects inside this. First is by using the standard navigation, then by using the schema builder, and by using the developer console. एक तरीका और मैंने लिखा नहीं शायद यहाँ पे. With the help of some external, there are four ways. There are four ways. By using third-party tools like, there are so many third-party tools like, your Informatica cloud is there, and then, I have this tool with us. Okay, चलो एक तो बता ही दूंगा आपको at least. By using third-party tools like, Workbench is there, and then we have this something called as Informatica cloud. These are a few tools, these are a few third-party tools, and there are so many tools also with which, we can see how many objects are there. Even with the Salesforce tool also, with the help of data loaders also, with the help of data loaders, you can also get this. By using these tools, there are few tools with the help which we can see how many objects are there inside my organization. You can see this. So actually there are four ways. There are four ways. That is why वो मेरे दिमाग में four चल रहा है. 3 लिखा हुआ था लेकिन 4 है. Yeah. So one by one जाते हैं. With the help of standard navigation, we can see how many objects are there inside my object. So with the standard navigation, there are two separate set of navigation to see the standard object and to see the custom object. If you want to see the standard objects, go with this navigation. Setup, build, and customize. Setup, build, customize. Go to this setup menu. Go to this build menu. Inside the build, just expand the customize. Now inside here, whatever you see over here, these all are your standard objects. These all are your standard objects. Okay. So with the help of standard navigation, with this navigation, setup, build, and customize, I can see all standard objects. I mean, not all, not exactly all, but I can see standard objects. Few of them. I can see few of the standard objects. Okay. Custom objects. If you want to see the custom objects using the standard navigation, go with this. Go to the setup menu, go to the build, but don't go to the customize. After build, go to the create, and then inside the create, go with the objects. So with this, you can see all of the custom objects. If you join in the middle of any development and you want to see what are the custom objects that are already been created by somebody else, how to see them, go with this navigation. Go with this navigation. Custom object, setup, build, create object, setup, build, create object. Let's go with this. Let me collapse this. Go to the setup, go to the build. Inside build, go with the create, just expand the create. There is an option, there's a link to like the name called as object, just click this. And see, there will be the list of all custom objects. Presently, I can see we have not created any custom object, and so the list is blank. We are going to learn how to create a custom object. Don't worry, we are going to learn how to create the custom objects, So whatever the custom object you are going to create, they are going to be listed out on this particular table with some sort of description, with some sort of features that is being listed out. We are eventually going to see how many custom objects that are being, inside my organization. So this is the way using standard navigation. There are two separate sets of navigation to see the standard objects and to see the custom objects. Now the second technique, something called as developer console. Developer console, what is the advantage of using developer console? Let me tell you that. First of all, see, when I go with this navigation, if I want to see the standard objects list, I go with this navigation. setup, built and customized. But unfortunately, it will not give me the list of all standard objects. See, if I expand this, if I expand this, although all of them are standard object, problem is that this is not the complete list. This is not the complete list. There are so many else standard object that is not being listed out here. Why I am able to see all this? Because this list, the name of this object, someone asked me this in the class, sir, why we are seeing all this, why we are not seeing other than that? Because this is something which has been listed in the metadata file. What is a metadata? Metadata is something, a data about data. Whatever you are seeing this thing, अगर आपको मैं सीधे साधे शब्दों में समझाना चाहूँ तो मैं कहूँगा कि यहाँ जो कुछ भी दिख रहा है आपको, whatever you are seeing over here, उसका एक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन का एक फाइल है और वो बिल्कुल सेम है मेरे ऑर्ग और आपकी ऑर्ग में। अगर आप अपने ऑर्ग में जाते हैं ना और आप जब अपने लॉगिन पे देखते हो कस्टमाइज एक्सप्लेन करके, तो जिस तरीके से मुझे यहाँ पे इस वक्त दिख रहा है, ये ऑप्शन जो सबसे पहले है, ये नंबर 2 पे होम है, नंबर 2 पे एक्टिव, 3 पे एक्टिविटीज, 4 पे ये, 5 पे ये, 6 पे, और यही सारे ऑब्जेक्ट्स विद द सेम लिस्टिंग यू आर आल्सो गोइंग टू सी। व्हाई? बिकॉज बोथ ऑफ अस इज फॉलोइंग द सेम मेटाडेटा। हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एक ही मेटाडेटा को यूज कर रही है। तो मैं सिंपल वर्ड में ये समझाना चाहूंगा कि ये चीजें एक फाइल से आती है, एक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन फाइल से आती है, एंड यू कैन नॉट मेक चेंजेस ओवर देयर। उतने अंदर पे जाके आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, वो database.com पे रहता है, ठीक है, इसलिए वहां तक हम नहीं पहुंच सकते। हम चाहे प्रोग्रामिंग से चाहे से जाए, हम नहीं जा सकते, एंड दैट इज व्हाई दीस थिंग्स आर फिक्स्ड, फिक्स है। तो देखिए, ये जो नेविगेशन मैंने अभी आपको दिखाया, व्हाट इज द ड्रॉबैक ऑफ दिस नेविगेशन इज दैट वी डजंट गेट द लिस्ट ऑफ all standard objects. There are so many standard objects, but not all of them are listed out. Now, what is the first advantage? It has not been written here. You need to write it down. I have not written the advantages of using the developer console. You need to please write it down. Whenever you see, uh, that I am explaining something that has not been written over here, you need to write it down. You need make this as a practice. Every time maybe I don't. It is not possible कि मैं हर बार बताते जाऊं, लिखो. So please make a routine practice for this. जब भी बैठते हो, अपना एक कॉपी, एक पेन, अपने नोट्स लेके तैयार करो, है ना? So what are the advantages of going with this navigation? What are the advantages of using developer console? Is that सबसे पहली बात, if I go with this navigation, let me first go and then describe. वो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा. How to go with the developer console? See, just expand this. Just expand your name. This is your name. Just expand this drop down. Just expand this pick list. There is an option to go with developer console. Just click on this. One another window is going to be open, and this is what? It's a developer console. This is what? It's a developer console. Go to the file menu and then click on the open. Go to the file menu and then click on the open. There's a shortcut for this also. If you press Control O, again the same thing is going to be happen. Try to learn the shortcuts as far as possible. It will reduces the efforts. It reduces the efforts. It takes less time. It looks good. That is why try to learn the shortcuts. Okay. So we come up with this dialog box. Inside the entity column, you want to see the objects. There are so many things that you can see with this. You can see the classes, triggers, pages, components, objects, static resources, and the packages also. I want to see the objects, and so I am clicking this object. These many are the objects. So these many are the objects. This list is really vast. These many are the number of objects that are there inside my org. Oh, these many are the number of objects. Pehla advantage, first advantage. I get the list of every standard object over here. First advantage. With the help of this, with the help of you go with this customize, you doesn't get the list of every standard object, but this is being listed out over here. These many are the standard objects. Presently, why? Because we have not created any custom objects so far. And so whatever the objects listed out here, write down, all of them are the standard objects. All of them are the standard objects. Okay. First advantage, please write it down. With the developer console, I can see the names of every standard object. Nothing has been hidden over here. Developer की आंखों से कुछ नहीं छुपता. Everything has been visible to developer. What the admin cannot see, developer can see. Developer can see. Okay, all of these are standard objects. Pehla advantage. Dusra advantage. See, if we go with the standard navigation to see the custom object, to see the standard object, we have two separate navigations. If I want to go look the custom object, I need to go with this. If I want to go see the standard, I need to go with this. But if you go with the developer console, this is the list of every object. Every object means your standard plus your custom. This is the second advantage. This is the second advantage. This is the second advantage. If you click, third advantage. Third advantage. If you click on any object, make a double click over it. If you click on any object and double click, you could get the name of the fields, all of the fields along with the data types. You are going to learn what is the data type means. You are going to learn all this. When we start creating the fields, we are going to learn. First, we will learn the data type, then we will learn how to create the fields. So don't worry, you are going to get this all. Third advantage. You can see the names of every field along with the data types, Now you yourself tell me if you want to see, the objects along with few more details, what is the best navigation? Go with the developer console. Third, schema builder. I hope you have written all these three advantages. And a comparison between standard navigation and the developer console. One comparison. You must have written, I hope this. Let's go with this, the third type, how to see the objects using schema builder. How to see the objects using schema builder. This is the navigation. It's a direct navigation. No internal menus. Go with the setup. Click on the build and then press the schema builder. It's a direct option. Go with the setup menu. Go with the build menu. Inside the build menu, you just don't need to expand anything. No need to expand this customize, no need to expand this create, develop, nothing. There's a direct option to open the schema builder. See here. There's a direct option to open the schema builder. Go with the same. Just click on the schema builder and you are going to open the schema builder. I have control click, that is why it's opening in a separate window. I have make a control plus click. Okay. Click किएगा तो यहीं पर open होगा. What I have done, I have make a control click. That's my habit. All of the objects, let me clear them all. Let me try to show you few objects. Account. Scroll it down. Cases. Contacts. Opportunities. Where is that? Opportunity. नहीं दिख रहा, कुछ नहीं दिख रहा. यहाँ पर ऑब्जेक्ट है. यहाँ क्लिक करेंगे तो ऑब्जेक्ट दिखेगा. यहाँ पर कैसे अरेंज करें? Go with this button called as auto layout. Click on this button, auto layout. Somehow it is arranged. Up to some extent, it is automatically arranged. Now, how to arrange this? Just minimize this. How I'm minimizing this with this control. Make them, align properly on the canvas. Let me make some changes. Let me click this. Let me remove few of the objects. चलो पहले दिखा देता हूँ. Try to. But this, just try to learn how to make the canvas looks like good. This we have. Now let me try to show you something. Let me try to remove this case from. Let's now have only two objects. Let's now have only two objects. One of them is contact. The second one is account. This is what? This is schema builder. This is what? This is schema builder. What is a schema builder? Schema builder is a graphical user interface tool. What is a schema builder? Schema builder is a graphical user interface tool. I can see these objects now looks like an image, and it looks like more visible to me. Why? Because this is sort of image to me. I can see on this canvas the account is there, contact is there. I can see the names of the fields inside this. If I expand this, I can see the names of the fields with their data types also, जो कि मुझे developer console में भी दिख रहा था, but that time it was like a table. Here it is like a image. Here it is like a image. It's a graphical interface. It's look good. It looks good. It looks attractive. I can see the name of the field inside the account object. You know how many fields are there inside the account object. I can scroll it down. I can see the data types also. I can go to contact object. I can see the names of the fields inside this contact object and along with the data types of data. The most important thing, what I see with the help of schema builder, and that is not possible to see anywhere else with the standard navigation, even not with the developer console. The most important thing, what you see with the help of a schema builder is relationship. Relationship. Write it down. If you want to demonstrate the relationship between two objects, we are going to learn this also, don't worry. If you want to learn, if you want to demonstrate the relationship between two objects, how these objects are related to each other, what kind of relationship? Oh, lookup relationship. What kind of relationship? Oh, hierarchical relationship. What kind of relationship? Lookup relationship. If you want to display, demonstrate the relationship between two objects, there is no other best way apart from the schema builder. Schema builder is the most interesting way to display the relationship between two objects. And this is why we usually use schema builder. When I go with the programming, I go with the developer console. But if I want to have something, on the admin level, if I want to create object, you are going to learn how to create the object with the schema builder. If I want to, display this relationship, I again go with the schema builder. If I want to create the fields inside the object, that could also be done with the schema builder. Everything, whatever now I'm saying, you are going to learn this all. So don't worry. अभी तो सिर्फ शुरुआत हुई है मेरे भाई, अभी तो बहुत लंबा सफर है आपका, बहुत सारी चीजें एक चीजें एक पन्नों पर आएंगी आप। हर दिन आप एक नया चैप्टर पढ़ें, हर दिन आप कुछ नया सीखें, हर दिन आप कुछ नया प्रैक्टिस करें. This is how we are going to, learn all this. So don't worry. Please don't worry. So this is the way, this is the most interesting way to represent the object. Why? Because एक तो यार पूरा ग्राफिक के फॉर्म में दिखता है, बड़ा प्यारा दिखता है. दूसरा, relationships नजर आती हैं. Relationships नजर आती हैं between the objects. Or this is the best way to demonstrate the relationship. If I ask you, show me what is the relationship between account and cases, you need to go with the schema builder. आप schema builder पे जाएंगे, ठीक है? Select this object account and select the object cases. Just select it and show me the relationship. This is the best way to show the relationship. This is the schema. So these are some few, different techniques to go with this, and everyone have this some advantages, some disadvantages. That is what we discussed. Now, with the help of some third-party tools, also like the Workbench, with the help of third-party tools like Workbench, you are going to learn this Workbench tool when we learn integration. That time I tell you how to get yourself. What is the meaning of production and the sandboxes? ये सब सिखाने वाला. So don't worry. Log in with the Salesforce. So this is a third-party tool which has nothing to do with the Salesforce. Training batch 105, training batch 105. Yes, allow. This is a third-party tool. Now, with the help of this tool, you can see the objects. How many of the standard and the custom objects? You can see. These all are the standard and custom objects. This is the list of above. See, the list, same list what you see on the developer console, same list has been exported over here also. So with the help of this third-party tool, I can even see how many objects are there. If I want to see what are the objects, what are the fields are there inside the object. So I selected account object. I can see that there are total altogether 66 fields inside this. These are the fields. These are the fields of the standard object. If I want to see what kind of relationship is there, I can go with this. There are altogether 117 relationships. Account object is related with all these 117. These are the childs. Account is parent. You are going to learn all this. So don't worry. ये बस मैं आपको explain करते चले जा रहा हूँ, है ना? कि there are few good third-party tools also. With the help of that tool, even like a Workbench is a tool. Informatica Cloud, I presently don't have any access on that because that is something which is a paid version of tool. So I don't have that tool. But yeah, there is one more tool called as Informatica Cloud. With the help of that also, you can get the access of Salesforce objects, because these are some Salesforce sponsored tool. This workbench will allow, Salesforce allow this workbench to get inside the org and make some, make some activities to be there. So this is a third party tool, by the way. With the help of this tool also, you can see how many objects with some fields, how many relationships are there. But the best way is to go everything inside the Salesforce. If unless and until you exceptionally want something that is being there inside the workbench or Informatica, go with this. Otherwise, everything there is inside the Salesforce. So try to get yourself inside the org and do whatever you want to do inside the org itself. Okay. So what are the ways now? What are the ways to create? What are the ways to create the custom object? अब आती है वो बात. चलिए custom object create करते हैं. So again, there are two techniques. There are two techniques using the standard navigation, using the custom schema builder. मैं दोनों तरीके से सिखाने वाला हूँ. Using the standard navigation and then the help of schema builder, we are going to create the objects. We are going to create the objects. Okay. चलिए. So what are the ways to create? There are two ways. There are two ways to create the object, custom objects. Whatever we create is called to be the custom. That is by custom. ठीक है? Because हम create कर रहे हैं इसलिए custom. There are two ways to create the custom object, and with the standard navigation, with the schema builder also. With the standard navigation, with the schema builder. ठीक है? चलिए. So with the schema builder, with the standard navigation, this is the navigation. This is the navigation to create. Now यहाँ पे मैं कुछ चीजें ऊपर नीचे करने वाला हूँ. ठीक है? First of all, let me show you something. What I am going to create. I am going to share this document with you guys also. So don't worry. I will put this document inside your WhatsApp group or else on your drive. This is something called as IDD. What is the full form of IDD? IDD's full form is Interface Detailed Document. Interface Detailed Document. This is the full form of IDD. Again, I am introducing one terminology. एक terminology मैं आप लोगों के साथ introduce कर रहा हूँ, because I know after like 4 to 5 months, you people are going to be work inside IT, and IT follows some sort of terminologies. You need to understand what does IDD means. IDD stands for Interface Detailed Document. Whenever you create something, whether it could be any object, it could be any field. We got this from our upper management. You need to create all the things according to this document. This is what? It's a roadmap. We need to work according to this document. If I'm a civil engineer, I call this to be the blueprint. Okay. If I'm a civil engineer, I'm not a civil engineer, but I'm telling this. Whatever you create, you always have one document with you, and you always need to follow that document. That document have so many names. In every company, the name could be different. Let me tell you this. ठीक है? जरूरी नहीं कि हर जगह उसको IDD ही बोलेंगे. They could call it as a requirement document. They could call it as a user story. They could call it as a use case document, like this. There could be so many names for this. It could be IDD. It could be requirement document. It could be use case document. It could be user story. Everything. Just give me a second. I will come back in 5 minutes. Give me a second. Yes, yes. Voice is not audible. Anjali, I have told I will be back in 5 minutes. Anyways, I unfortunately, forgot to stop the recording. It was continued. Anyway, so whenever you create something, whenever you create something, you just a So whenever you create something, you always have one document with you, and that document could be named. There are so many names for this. It could be IDD, interface detail document. It could be user story. It could be problem statement. It could be use case document. It could be requirement document. तो मैं क्या करने वाला हूँ? We are going to learn how to create the objects. We are going to learn how to create the objects. Although we have these many objects with us. I mean, we have developed an application called as Align Talent Acquisition, and we have all this set of standard objects with us: accounts, contacts, opportunity, cases, dashboard, and we do have few more objects. But the client want, client apart from this, inside the CRM, client want few more objects, like that is what we are going to discuss. Client has shared that I want hiring manager object. I want something to store the candidate object so that I can store the records of the candidate. I want something to store the positions. Client is a non-technical person. Client इतनी detail से कभी नहीं दिखाता. This is what we usually, इसी के लिए जो business analyst जो लोग होते हैं वो यही काम करते हैं. They used to have this interaction with the client, and then they come up with the requirement. That requirement initially goes to the managers. Managers, then it goes to the leads. Leads discuss करते हैं and they decide कि हमें करना क्या है. And then as a developer, we are at the bottom level. We usually get this requirement only, and then we start working on the requirement. We always have one document with us, and that's the roadmap. ये है वो डॉक्यूमेंट कि आपको क्या करना है. आपको क्रिएट करने 3 ऑब्जेक्ट. हायरिंग मैनेजर ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करना है, कैंडिडेट ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करना है, पोजीशन ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करना है. You need to, first of all, you need to create the 3 objects, and these objects will have going to have all these fields. अभी field creation पे बाद में जाएंगे. Hiring manager should have all these fields. Candidate should have all these fields. Position should have all these fields. These many number of fields. We are going to discuss this in the later stages. अभी तो पहला काम क्या है? 3 ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करना है. हायरिंग मैनेजर ऑब्जेक्ट, candidate object, position object. We need to create all these 3 objects, and I'm going to share this document with you guys. So don't worry. मैं share करूँ. Presently, we need to create these 3 documents. Now, how to create this we need to create these 3 objects. Now, how to create the object? That is what we are going to do. There are 2 ways: using the standard navigation, using the schema builder. Okay, using the standard navigation, using the schema builder. चलिए देखते हैं. So first way, पहला, let's go with the standard navigation. These are the steps. Everything has been written. जो मैं अभी प्रैक्टिकल में करूंगा वो सारी चीजें यहाँ पे लिखी हुई हैं. ऑलरेडी वी हैव रिटन ऑल दिस. बस आपको थ्योरी नहीं पढ़ के सुनाऊंगा, मैं एक एक लाइन पढ़ के नहीं सुनाऊंगा, बिकॉज वी रियली डोंट हैव दैट मच ऑफ टाइम, है ना. बट आपको पढ़ना है, इट्स अप टू यू, आपको फॉलो करना है. मैं बस इसका प्रैक्टिकल दिखाऊंगा, है ना. और जो जो बता रहा हूँ सेम चीज है, डोंट वरी. हाँ, आई विल कम बैक टू दिस आल्सो. सो लेट्स गो विद दिस नेविगेशन. सेटअप, बिल्ड, क्रिएट ऑब्जेक्ट. अभी यही है, इसी नेविगेशन पे हम इसके पहले भी गए थे. व्हेन वी वांट टू सी द कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट, this is the navigation. Go to the setup menu, go to the build menu. Inside the build menu, just expand the create menu. Don't click over here. If you click, nothing happens. One page is going to be loaded. See, one unnecessary page is going to be loaded from the server. A server call has been made. I don't want this page. Why to load it? Why to make this unnecessary server call? It's not at all required. Make yourself smart. Have a control on your mouse. Unnecessary click मत करो. वहीं क्लिक करो जहां जरूरी है, राइट. सो जस्ट एक्सपैंड दिस, डोंट क्लिक दिस. नाउ क्लिक ऑन द ऑब्जेक्ट. यहाँ रिक्वायर्ड है, क्लिक करो. व्हाट यू वांट. तो दिस इज, ये पेज पे हम आ चुके हैं इसके पहले. व्हाट यू वांट? आई वांट टू क्रिएट अ न्यू कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट. नाउ क्लिक ऑन दिस न्यू कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट. व्हाट इज द लेबल? You can type it, you can copy it. Copy it from the IDT. I want to create one hiring manager object. Copy paste. Why I'm telling you to copy paste? Because I don't want you to make any mistakes. That is why I'm telling this. मैं टाइप भी तो कर सकता हूँ, बट नहीं, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ? I'm copying it from. This is one again as a practice. ये जो मैं दे रहा हूँ ना आपको, this one is a practice. जो करना है आगे चल के वही सिखा रहा हूँ अभी, ठीक है, टाइप भी करवा सकता था लेकिन नहीं करवाने को, अगर डॉक्यूमेंट है तो कॉपी पेस्ट करेंगे, ठीक है। दिस इज व्हाट दिस अ सिंगुलर लेबल, दिस इज द सिंगुलर लेबल ऑफ दिस ऑब्जेक्ट, ठीक है। दिस इज द सिंगुलर लेबल, नाउ इट्स गोइंग टू गिव मी वन एरर अगर मैं इसको इस तरह से जाऊंगा तो, व्हाई, बिकॉज देयर इज अ स्पेस बिटवीन दिस, ऑब्जेक्ट नेम है स्पेस मत दो, rather go with like this, ठीक है, rather go with like this, that is my underscore. Now singular and the plural labels आपको देने हैं, you need to copy and make it one s over here, hiring manager managers, एग्जाम्पल दिया सेल्सफोर्स ने, अगर अकाउंट पहले लिख रहे हो तो बाद में क्या लिखो अकाउंट्स, कंफ्यूज होने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, सेल्सफोर्स बहुत आसान है, एंड एवरी स्टेप यू गॉट दिस, कुछ ना कुछ हेल्प तो मिल ही जाएगी। तो अगर अकाउंट लिख रहे हैं तो अकाउंट्स लिखिए, हायरिंग मैनेजर लिख रहे हैं तो हायरिंग मैनेजर्स लिखिए, ऑब्जेक्ट नेम इज व्हाट, इट्स अ हायरिंग मैनेजर, ठीक है। Description if you want you can give, I am skipping for now, I am skipping this, I don't want to give any description for this, also I can give any description। ये हो गया, आगे बढ़ते हैं, ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं। Now go with the optional feature section and click all these checkbox, all these checkbox, allow report, allow activities, track field history, allowing the chatter, just click all of that. Why? I'm going to tell you that also. What happens when you don't click allow reports? What happens when you don't click allow activities? What happens when you don't click track field histories and allows the chatter? What is going to happen when you don't click this? That is what we are going to discuss this. So don't worry. There will be a time come when we are going to learn the reports and the dashboard and the activities and the track field histories and the chatters, collaboration cloud. When we discuss this, we are going to learn this. ठीक है, तो एक समय आएगा, don't worry. Presently, what I want all of you to click this all, and it has also written in the document also. Go with this 105. Click on the new singular plural labels, give the description if you want, give the description, otherwise skip it. Go to the optional feature section, everything has been written step by step, everything, don't worry. Select the checkbox, क्या, allow reports, allow activities, है ना, everything has been written, सब कुछ लिखा हुआ है। Now go to the deployment section, see everything has been written, कहाँ जाना है सब पता है, कहाँ जाना है, deployment section, make it deployed, don't make it in development. What happens when you click in development? I'm going to tell you right now. What happens when you make it deployed? What happens when you make it in development? What happens when you make it deployed? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. Don't worry. Allow search. This is something which is optional. This is something which is optional. But I want you to click this both. Add notes and attachment. Launch a new tab. Custom tab wizard. Okay. तो ये ऑप्शनल है, बट आई वांट यू टू क्लिक दिस बिकॉज मैं सेकंड ऑप्शन पे जाने वाला हूं, डोंट वरी। व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन यू डोंट क्लिक दिस वी आर गोइंग टू सी विद द सेकंड ऑब्जेक्ट, डोंट वरी। नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन यू क्लिक दिस डिप्लॉय, व्हाट इफ आई क्लिक इन डेवलपमेंट, है ना। चलिए इस पे अभी डिस्कशन करेंगे। लेट मी ट्राई टू शो यू समथिंग, 101 batch, let me try to show you something. Yeah, I think we have discussed this long. I don't know whether we have discussed this or not. If not, this is the first time. If yes, this is the second time maybe. I don't exactly remember whether we have discussed this diagram or not, but chalo, start that. See, how does the Salesforce development actually goes? I think we have discussed this long back. I mean, in the initial days is when we were just, I'm giving you the demo of this particular Salesforce. Maybe that time I have discussed this. How does the development goes in the Salesforce? I have something on the chat. Okay, yeah. Naushad is telling me that we have discussed. हाँ मैं भूल जाता हूँ. This is ठीक है. चलिए. Thank you for reminding me this. How does the Salesforce development actually goes? See, as an administrator, you are responsible to develop the front end only. You are responsible to create an object and then create the fields inside the objects. Create an object. Creating an object. This is what we are going to learn right now. We are learning this, how to create the objects. After this, after this, we are going to learn how to create the fields inside the objects. So step number 2, create the object. Step number one, create the object. Step number 2, create the fields inside the object. Whatever the fields you want to create it, what the fields do you want to have inside the object, just create them all. How does a development goes inside the Salesforce? How does applications are developed? How does objects are developed? Now see, as soon as you create an object, while creating an object, you have these two options. You can make it in development. You can make it deployed. You can make it in development. You can make it deployed. When you check this deployed during the creation of any object, when you click this deployed, when you check this deployed, this is the default option, by the way. When you check this deployed, for that particular object, what you are creating inside the database.com, one table is going to be created in that instance only. If I click this checkbox deployed, as soon as I create this hiring manager, object, one table whose name is again hiring manager is going to be created inside the database.com. So I have told you, you just need to worry about the front end. Don't worry about the back end. Don't worry about the creating of database table. You doesn't need to create the database table. That is automatically going to be created. You also don't need to write down the business logic class. That is also being going to created automatically. What we are supposed to do, we are only required to create this object, and one table is going to be created automatically. हमने नहीं करेगा और obviously अपने आप हो जाएगा. One business logic class is also going to be written automatically. हम नहीं करेगा. It's going to be created automatically. So see, this is the reason. If you check this checkbox deployed, then only the table is going to be created. But if the object is under development, the table is not going to create it. Let me tell you that also. If you click this, if you check this in development, this table is not going to be created. And that is why click deploy. Because we are finalizing the object. We don't have any ambiguity related in our mind. Acha, aisa kuch bacha hai. Don't worry. We are finalizing everything because we are working according to IDDs. We have this concrete document with us. We have this in our hand. This is the proof. You have given me the rights to create the hiring manager. That is why I am creating. So we have this concrete decision. There is no confusion at all. And that is why, guys, everything is finalized. Just click on deploy. Once you click this deployed, when you save this, as soon as you save this, one object is going to be created and one table is going to be created inside your database table with the same name. Inside the database.com, one table is going to be created with the same name of your object. That is why I want all of you to click this checkbox. Now, regarding this, we are going to discuss it. Okay, chali. Let me just save this. Yeah. Now it will ask you, जैसे कि यहाँ पे जितने you can see there are so many tabs. If I click this campaigns, the tab color is different. If I click on this lead, maybe the tab color could be different, slightly different. If I click the account, yeah, the tab color is entirely different. If I click the content, again, it's entirely different. Opportunity is entirely different. So now, for every object, we have a tab. For every object, we have a tab. And can anyone tell me what is the relationship between object and the tab? What is the mapping between object and tab? We have completed this. Yes. What is the relationship? What is the mapping between object and a tab? Whether it's one-to-one or one-to-many. You have two options, one-to-one, one-to-many.
One-to-one.
It's always one-to-one, exactly. It's always one-to-one. One object, one tab. One object, one tab. Okay. Now, on this particular page, we need to select the tab style. For the hiring manager object, what you are creating, select a type style. Suitable. You need to go with this lookup icon. I could expand this. I can see these many are the colors. These many are the icons that is being given. According to the hiring manager, just try to select a suitable icon hiring manager. कोई तो भी suitable मैं देखता हूँ इसके लिए. Go with the people को actually मैं candidates पे लगाना चाहता था. Yeah, presenter थोड़ा ठीक दिख रहा है ना. This icon looks good on the hiring manager. So I can go with this appropriate icon and this presenter. You can even give the description if you want, but giving a description on every stage, it's a little bit anonymous. It's a little bit annoying. Yeah, here you need to, make the default on. default on for this particular tab. Always make it on. वैसे default on ही रहता है. वैसे default on ही रहता है. You are going to learn when we learn this topic field level security. When we will learn this field level security, तब मैं आपको इसका पूरा meaning बताऊंगा. What does it means by tab hidden, tab off and default on, default off, tab hidden. So ये देखेंगे हम आगे चल के. अभी तो default on ही रहने दो. Go to next. Make it visible for all profile users. By default, it's clicked. If it is not checked, check it. If it is not checked, check it. Make it visible for everyone. Make it visible for every user. In the security, we are going to learn how to restrict the user for any particular tab. For now, because we don't know all this concept, let's keep it simple with you. Just click this checkbox and make it visible. Make this tab, make this object. What we are creating right now is the hiring manager object. Make it available for everybody. सबके लोग, सबका साथ, सबका विकास. चलो आगे बढ़ जाओ मेरे भाई. Save now. Save it. Yes, we have created one custom object. Right now we have created a custom object and see, this is the tab over here. मैं जाता हूँ यहाँ पे. उससे पहले कुछ चीजें मैं बताना चाहता हूँ. उससे पहले मैं कुछ चीजें आपको बताना चाहता हूँ. चलो. I have created this custom object. How to see the object? चलो अब वापस उसी navigation पे जाते हैं. Go to the setup menu. Go to the build menu. Expand the create menu. Go to the object links. Now click the object and see there is one object listed out. What's hiring manager? So all of the custom object what you are going to create, that are going to be listed out here. So if you join any organization, any project, if you join it in the middle of the development, and if you want to see how many custom objects our developer has created, the people, those who are working, the team has created, go with this navigation and see all of them, what's the object they have created. Because it could possible you may need to write something on the object. That is why you should be aware how many custom objects are there. This is the navigation to see this. First thing, पहली बात, दूसरी बात, दूसरी बात, दूसरी बात. One important. I have created an object called as hiring manager. I have created one object called as hiring manager. How I have created? With the help of front end only. With the help of few navigations, with the help of user interfaces, I have created one object called as hiring manager. Did I write down any code? No. Apart from the coding, did I anything? Yes, I have used the few navigations. I have just make few mouse clicks and I have created one application. Even I have created one object also. Now let me ask you this question. Did I created any field inside the object? I have created the object. I was supposed to create some fields also. I mean, inside the IDD, they have mentioned me to create all these fields. Okay? They have mentioned me to create all these fields. Did I created them? Did I created them? Yes or no? Did I created any field so far? Did I created any field so far? Yes, yes or no? Yes or no? The plain answer, yes or no. Did I created any field? I have created object. Did I created custom contact number, email ID, HR location? Did I created anything?
No, sir.
No, no. Right now,
No.
no. Yes, no. I have only created the object. I have only created the object. Creating an object means you have created one table. Creating an object means you have created one table. What table? Hiring manager table. Inside the database, one table is created. Inside the database.com, one table for this object has been created. Because I have not created any field, listen it carefully. Listen it very carefully. Because I have not created any field, does it means my table is blank? Does it means my table is blank? Because I have not, see, fields are what? Fields are columns. ID is a column. If you have created ID, one ID column is going to be created. If you created name field, one name column is going to be created. When you create the phone field inside the user interface, one phone column is going to be created. So whenever you create a field, one column is going to be created. Now what I am asking you, does it means I have not created any field? So does it means my table doesn't have any columns? मेरे टेबल्स में कोई कॉलम होने चाहिए या नहीं होने चाहिए? अरे
होने चाहिए सर.
कौन से कॉलम्स होने चाहिए? इसने भी आंसर दिया, ये भी बता दे कौन से कॉलम्स होने चाहिए। बिकॉज आई हैव नॉट क्रिएटेड एनी फील्ड, अभी तक मैंने कोई फील्ड नहीं क्रिएट किया। हाँ बताइए, व्हाट्स योर आंसर? यस फिरोज, आई मीन यू आर अनम्यूटेड, दैट इज व्हाई आई एम आस्किंग, अदरवाइज नो नॉट इशू। आपका माइक मेरे को चालू दिखा।
There might be by default some fields might be there.
चलो ठीक। Now let me explain all this. See, whenever you create any object, yeah, no guessings, final answer. Whenever we create any object, the object is not blank. Although we have not created any field inside the object. Although we have not created any field inside the object, but there are 5 standard fields. Write it down. Write it down. Whenever we create any object, the object is not blank. Whenever we create any object, the object is not blank. There are 5 standard fields that are automatically created. Whenever we create any object, it is created with 5 standard fields. Whenever we create the object, table creates 5 standard fields created, 5 columns created inside the table automatically. Every object, when we create any object, it contains 5 standard fields. What are those? I'm going to discuss, don't worry. Whenever we create any object, it is being created with the 5 standard objects. So whenever the table the table has 5 columns. What are the names of that columns? What are the names of that columns? ID, somewhere it has been written, somewhere it has been written. Let me try to see. कहाँ लिखा है, don't worry, आ जाएंगे वो point पे. Whenever we create this, whenever we create, let me type. कहीं तो भी लिखने दो, है लिखा हुआ, आगे चल के आएगा. When we create any object, it is not blank. It have 5 columns. ID, first column, please write it down. Name, second column, second field. Owner, third. Created by, fourth. Last, modified by. Created by and last modified. So whenever you create any object, it is not blank. The object is created with these 5 fields, with these 5 standard columns. They are, Now, चलो अब हम चलते हैं, ये चीज आपको डेमोन्स्ट्रेट कर देते हैं. We have created this custom object, hiring manager. Just now we have created this. What is the API name? Hiring manager __ C. अब ये क्या चीज है? डिस्कस कर लेंगे, don't worry. डिस्कस करेंगे, don't worry. See, these are the standard fields. This object is not blank. It proves, although you have not created any custom field नहीं है, but at least object blank नहीं है. 4 तो यही नजर आ रहे हैं, आईडी नजर नहीं आ रहा है. ठीक है, आईडी नजर नहीं आ रहा है, उसको भी दिखा दूंगा मैं डेवलपर कंसोल से. लेकिन हाँ, दिस फील्ड इज नॉट ब्लैंक, दिस ऑब्जेक्ट इज नॉट ब्लैंक. इट हैव ऑल दिस फील्ड्स. ओनर, नेम, hiring manager name, created by, last modified by, and ID is also there. Let me try to show you that also. Go to the developer console. ठीक है, अब आ गया ऑब्जेक्ट अपना. कंट्रोल ओ दबाया मैंने, कंट्रोल ओ. ऑब्जेक्ट, कौन सा ऑब्जेक्ट चाहिए भाई? बहुत सारे ऑब्जेक्ट हैं. बस आई वांट दिस हायरिंग मैनेजर ऑब्जेक्ट, हायरिंग मैनेजर _C. लेट्स ओपन दिस ऑब्जेक्ट. आईडी, ये आ गया आईडी. आईडी, ओनर, बाकी छोड़ दो, 7-8 डिलीटेड है यहाँ पे, वो छोड़ दो, आपके काम की नहीं आती. नेम, क्रिएटेड बाय, लास्ट मॉडिफाइड बाय. ऐसे तो बहुत सारी फील्ड्स हैं, लेकिन छोड़ दो, आप 5 ही याद करो. आईडी, ओनर, नेम, क्रिएटेड बाय, लास्ट मॉडिफाइड बाय. ठीक है, लास्ट मॉडिफाइड बाय. These are the 5 standard fields. आपको इतनी याद रखनी है, बाकी याद नहीं रखनी है. So whenever we create any object, it is not blank. The object is always created with the 5 standard fields. What are those? ID, name, owner, created by, last modified by. ठीक है, चलो एक बात ये थी याद रखने लायक. अब now I have created this object. I have created one object called as hiring manager. Let me once again create another object, position. What's the second? Let me try to see this. IDD. One I have created. Second is candidate. But I'm not going to go with the schema builder. मैं अभी भी इसको standard navigation से ही कर रहा हूँ. Because I want you to observe a few things. That is why I'm doing with the standard navigation. For this position, I'm going to create it with the schema builder. Let me create an object called as candidate. Let me now create an object called as candidate, again with the same thing what we have the this navigation only. Let's try to create one more object, standard object. sorry, candidate object. Go with the same navigation. Go with the same navigation. Just go to the setup menu. Go to the create. So यहाँ पे already open है शायद, है ना? Same thing. Create object. उसके बाद क्या? Just click on this new custom button. Give the name candidate. Give the plural names candidates. Okay. You want to give any description? That's really up to you. That's really up to you. Optionals, I want all of you to click all these 4 check boxes, all of this. ये अभी आया, इसके पहले नहीं हुआ करता था. But this release, अभी जो हमारी रिलीज आई है समर 21, ये नया इनेबल लाइसेंसिंग आया हुआ है. ठीक है, अभी फिलहाल नहीं मिलेगा आपको ये ऑप्शन इनेबल नहीं है अभी, छोड़ दीजिए इसको, इसके बारे में मत पूछिए अभी मुझसे. हाँ, ये 4 जो है इसको क्लिक करना है. मेक इट डिप्लॉयड, इट्स एसेंशियली इंपॉर्टेंट. अलाउ सर्च, यहाँ भी ठीक है. ऐड नोट्स एंड अटैचमेंट, ठीक है. फॉरगेट दिस, भूल गए. एक्सीडेंटली इंटेंशनली क्लिक नहीं किया. क्या क्लिक नहीं किया? लॉन्च अ न्यू कस्टम टैब विजार्ड, नहीं क्लिक किया. दिस टाइम आई एम मेकिंग समथिंग, आई एम मेकिंग समथिंग, मैं आपसे कुछ चीजें फेल करवा रहा हूँ. देन आई विल टेल यू हाउ टू रेक्टिफाई दिस. प्रॉब्लम्स भी आने जरूरी है. हर बार सब चीज अच्छा होगा जिंदगी में जरूरी नहीं है. प्रॉब्लम्स फेस करो. ये नहीं किया तो क्या हुआ? सेव किया. सबसे पहली बात आपसे सवाल है, जवाब देने. पहले बताओ ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट हुआ है या नहीं हुआ है? कैंडिडेट ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट हुआ है या नहीं हुआ है? फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन.
हुआ है सर.
हुआ है, ऑफ कोर्स, आपके आंखों के सामने है. कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट क्या कैंडिडेट क्रिएट हो गया है, बिल्कुल सही. दूसरा सवाल, कैंडिडेट ऑब्जेक्ट के लिए टैब क्रिएट हुआ है या नहीं हुआ है?
नहीं हुआ.
नहीं हुआ है सर. अगर होता तो यहाँ हायरिंग मैनेजर के बाजू में नजर आ रहा हो. नहीं हुआ है, नहीं हुआ है. ठीक है, तो अभी तो मुझे ऑब्जेक्ट दिख रहा है, वो सारी फील्ड्स के साथ, 5 फील्ड्स के साथ सब कुछ दिख रहा है. आई गो टू दिस हायरिंग मैनेजर. ठीक है, अब टैब नहीं है, टैब नहीं है. चलो टैब नहीं है, ठीक है. टैब नहीं दिख रहा है तो यहाँ चले जाते हैं, यहाँ से लेके आ जाते हैं. हायरिंग मैनेजर कैंडिडेट ऑब्जेक्ट है, सी पे क्लिक किया. CACHCO कहाँ गया कैंडिडेट? कैंडिडेट तो है ही नहीं इस लिस्ट में. इसका मतलब ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट हुआ है. ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट हुआ है. आई कैन सी द ऑब्जेक्ट इफ आई गो टू हियर ऑब्जेक्ट्स. आई कैन सी कैंडिडेट क्रिएट तो हुआ है. प्रॉब्लम क्या है? प्रॉब्लम उसका टैब नहीं बना है. सो इफ यू फॉरगेट टू क्लिक दैट चेक बॉक्स, लॉन्च अ कस्टम टैब विजार्ड, है ना, launch the custom tab wizard. If you forget to click this, if you forget to click this checkbox, launch a new custom tab wizard after saving the custom object. Your object is going to be created. Problem, your tab is not going to be created. Okay, your tab is not going to be created. Now, how to create the tab? How to additionally create the tab? That is what we are going to learn right now. अब उस ऑब्जेक्ट के लिए जिसका टैब नहीं बनता, उसको टैब कैसा बनाना, वो अब मैं आपको सिखा रहा हूँ. एडिशनल टू दैट, ठीक है, एडिशनल टू दैट वी हैव सीन दैट वी हैव क्रिएटेड हायरिंग मैनेजर. वी आल्सो हैव अ टैब फॉर हायरिंग मैनेजर बिकॉज़ इट हैज बीन हियर. We have created the object but the tab is not created. How to create the tab? Let's now discuss this all. उसको भी डिस्कस करें. Before that, there are 4 types of tabs. In the Salesforce, there are 4 types of tabs. What are those? Custom object. We have created a custom object. Tab is not created. The tab what we are going to create is for this object is going to be called as the custom object tab. We can create visual force page tab. Whatever the visual force page we will create a tab for this. Abhi nahi, baad mein. We can create the web page tab. Whatever the community pages we are going to create, we can create tab for this. Abhi nahi, baad mein. Lightning page, lightning component. It is not inside your training. Training ke bahar ki cheeze hai. Okay. So there are, there are 5 types of tab. There are 5 types of tab: custom object tab, visual force page tab, web page tab, lightning page, lightning component. These are the 5 types of tab. Presently, you are going to have the practice on this because we have created a custom object, but tab is not created. How to create the tab? This is the navigation. Go with this navigation. I am following the practicals. Let's go to this setup menu, go to the build menu. Inside the create, have a link called as tab. Just click on this tab. Because tab is not created, we are going to create. Here it indicates how many custom object tabs we have created, how many web tabs we have created, how many visual force page tab we have created, how many lightning components, lightning page tabs. These are the 5 types of tabs inside the Salesforce. यही मैंने वहां लिखा है और कुछ अलग नहीं लिखा है. Now we are going to create a new custom object tab. Click the new button. What object? This object. Here is the list of all objects. For the object is created, tab is not created. You are going to get the list of all objects. अगर ऐसे 6 ऑब्जेक्ट बना लोगे जिसके टैब नहीं बने, सारे 6 के 6 are going to be listed out here only. All the 6 are going to be listed out here only. You know. तो फिलहाल तो एक ही है, तो भाई एक ही आ रहा है नाम, एक ही नाम आ रहा है. What object? Candidate object. Select the candidate. Now select the tab style. ये इसके पहले भी किया है आपने, अलग इंटरफेस था, अभी अलग इंटरफेस है. Candidate, I want to give this people. Give a description if you want. I usually skip this. Next. Make it default on. Yes, default on. Yes, default on. Next, make it visible for every profile user. Yes. Click the next save button. Click the save button and see what happens. Tab is also created. Tab is also created. Tab is also created. Now we have the object, we have the tab. We have the object, we have the tab. We have the object, we have the tab. This is how to create the object and create the tab using standard navigation. This is how you create the object and create the tab with the standard navigation. Now, one thing more is left, one thing more is left, how to create the object using schema builder. So for that, we are going to, tomorrow is holiday. Sorry, tomorrow is holiday. You are going to get it on this. Today is what? Today is Tuesday. So on Thursday, we are going to discuss this, how to create this object and then with the schema builder, and then how to create the fields also with the schema builder. And then what is the difference? What is the difference exactly between creating the object with the schema and the standard navigation? You guys need to write it down after completing of this on the Thursday. You need to write it down what you observe while we create this object with the standard navigation, and then when we create this with the schema builder. You guys need to write down the differences of that observation, and you need to post it in the group. Okay, chalo. So let me first stop this recording. Let's have a QA round.